welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do a quick tutorial to show you how to animate your still photos with Plotograph. This is a photo that I animated. I'm going to show you how I did it and go step by step, kind of show you the ins and outs of the app and give you some tips and tricks also to help you have smooth animations. So let's get started. So to get started, open the app and choose the photo that you're going to work with. Use 2 fingers to zoom in and move around your image. If you just saw, I just accidentally put an animation point and then I use the back button on the top to undo it. I'll do it again for you. You just undo it. Those mistakes happen. So again, you can just animate by dropping a point and dragging it, moving it the direction you'd like, and then undoing it with the arrow on top. The next is mask. You want to mask areas that you do not want to move. You can also undo that, and you can adjust using a slider bar by pushing the button on the bottom and undo it just like you did the animation points. So the next button on the bottom is the eraser button. You can also choose the width of your eraser by pushing the eraser and adjusting it on the side, and you can fine tune all those little points. The next button is the anchor button. Anchor is pretty important. That holds down anything that you don't want to move, and I find it works really well with masking, but I actually use anchor even more than anything. To undo it, you can simply use the undo button on top, or you can select the little button on the bottom and select which ones you'd like to undo and undo them from there. So to animate, you drop and drag the arrows. If you'd like to see what has been animated, you push the play button and you can see the movement that that one arrow has created. When I begin an animation, I decide what will move and what will remain static. In this image, I want the girl in the umbrella to not move. So I will use masking and anchors to make sure that she does not move. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to first mask the area. And it is really important when you are masking to try to be pretty precise with it so that there aren't parts around that you want moving. You don't want those parts to not move because of it. So as you can see, I just clicked the settings button, and that you can change your colors, and you can also turn on and off your magnifier, which is pretty important when you're trying to do detailed work. So I'm just trying to get all of the areas and try to cover all of the parts that I don't want to move. Trying to be pretty precise with that. And that's when that option to change the width of your tool is really nice. Now I'm just going to go back and erase around a little bit. And yeah, and see, so I just did a little too much again, and I'm going to turn my magnifier on now because that does help with the more detailed parts of erasing and also masking. Just still working on getting that, getting it as close to the image as possible so that she remains perfectly still. Now I'm going to use my anchor points to get these really small little lines that I want to make sure don't move. And I am trying to be pretty precise with this because I want the rest of my background to have animation. I always do an abundance of anchor points. I don't know that you actually need to do a lot, but I want to make sure that nothing's moving that I don't want to move. Now I'm choosing a few to take off. And you just use the select button at the bottom to do that. And then I'll continue around the umbrella, making sure that it is stationary. Almost done. Okay, now using 2 fingers, I zoom back out. Another thing that I want to do is use anchor points because I've decided to do movement in 2 different directions. So when you do this, if you don't want it to look pixelated and muddled, you can use anchor points to define those 2 areas, which is what I'm doing. I also want my birds to stay still, so I will go in and anchor point those as well. Okay, last one. I'm going to go back and select a few points. There we go, to delete. So that's what I wanted. That's what I want to remain static. And so now I'm going to animate. Tips and tricks with this software, this app, is you want to animate on lines. You don't want to go across lines. So I'm going to follow these lines in my image, and I try to stay on the lines as much as possible. That helps with smoother animation. I think this is definitely the most important part of the animation or the process of using this app. And it's definitely worth taking your time and being careful with. Now I'm just going to try it out and see how that looks. It's already creating some pretty cool movement. I'm just going to continue through the image. I've been using the software for about a year now. I have the desktop version also, Plotagraph Pro, which is great, but I'm more of an iPhone app user and always have been. So when they put the app out, I was pretty happy about it. I think it's easy and really it just puts breath into your photos. I'm just continuing around with my animation points, trying to be precise as possible. It's a good idea to check every once in a while just to see what they look like, just to see that there's no glitches in the animation. Just a few more in the corner, because I want to make sure the movement continues through the whole piece. Using the 2 fingers to zoom in and zoom out. Now I'm going to try it out. That looks pretty good. So pausing it again, I'm going to work on the second part of my animation. And I'm going to go the opposite direction because I have those anchor points that will separate my outside animation from this inside animation. I still try to follow lines in the photo so that it will be smooth. And let's see what it looks like. So as you can see, I'm having a little bit of problems with my birds, and they're moving around a little bit, and I'll deal with those in a little bit. I'm going to add a few more points for a little bit more movement, and then work on my birds and trying to get those anchored so that they won't move at all. So you can see the birds are, I don't want that. That movement is, that's unwanted, so I'm going to pause it and go back in and try to prevent that from happening. I'm just going to add some points and some masking around the outside, just a tiny bit, just to give it a little bit more stability. So that one's still moving a little bit, so I'm going to pause it again and work on that one. That's where the magnifier really comes in handy. Okay. Just a tiny bit more on this one. Okay, that. Going to take a few points off just to see if it will stop pulling at my birds. Okay, that looks better. Now you can change the speed of your video. Make it faster like that, or really slow, so there's just minimal animation movement. I think I'll go middle of the road-ish, maybe a little bit faster for this piece. And that looks pretty good. So you can also crop it down and you can save it, which is what I'm going to do. They have buttons for different social medias and different times and also different qualities. So I'm saving it for Instagram and I'm saving it. That's it. Done. So it saves it to my camera roll and then I can share it on Instagram. And there it is. And it looks great. I love it. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial today and I hope you learned something. If you did enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up on this video and consider subscribing. I'm going to have more editing videos. I'm also going to do painting videos and a lot of other fun stuff on my channel. So I do hope you'll join me. And thanks again. Have a beautiful day.